Hello and welcome to Action Talk episode number 7. Last time we spoke to different players of the climbing community to get a sense of how Corona is affecting climbing worldwide. We spoke to 27 Cracks, 88.nu and Kletterdomen. If you haven't seen the video, check the link in the description. Now we have another set of talks to present.
I think it just started to infiltrate every aspect of life that we just had to...
If we reopen a place, it's probably a much safer place than before because...
Ragazzi, per favore, state a casa, non uscite e aiutateci a combattere tutto questo. Grazie.
Let's start with La Sportiva. The company is based in northern Italy in Trentino, where the government has decided one of the toughest lockdowns worldwide. La Sportiva is the main employer in the Val di Fiemme, a small community where everybody has to stay at home since 4 weeks. We talked to Luca Mich, who is responsible for marketing operations.
We are not allowed to go for a walk or for other purpose. We can't go out more than 200 meters from our home.
Which obviously means doors closed for La Sportiva. No climbing shoes being currently produced.
No production at all, no deliveries, because usually we produce all the climbing shoes and mountaineering shoes here in this company, in this valley. But right now it's impossible.
So will the market soon run out of climbing shoes?
Honestly, I don't think so. Our warehouse are full of product, so we really can't see any problems in this. Of course, if this emergency will last for months, it will be a problem. But to manage some more weeks, at least a couple of months, there are no problems.
But actually, the factory isn't completely shut down. La Sportiva has started to produce again, but not climbing equipment. Instead, they decided to help the Italian healthcare system.
We received an order from the civil protection for 55,000 masks, and we organized us immediately. We prepared one of our production line. We reconverted it to a mask production line. We are still waiting right now for the official certification by the Italian healthcare, but we are very confident we can have it and we can start provide this mask to our health system.
Now I bet, if someone had said a year ago that 2020 doctors would be walking around with masks made by La Sportiva, you wouldn't have believed it. But here we are. How did you get the medical knowledge to do this?
It's not necessary to have a medical knowledge. It's just a matter of having the right textiles. And here in near Trento, near where we are, there are two companies that produce this textile. And, they provide it, and we just cut it with our machines that before were dedicated to cutting the leather and cutting the rubber ends for the climbing shoes. Now we are cutting this textile special for the mask. And we have now 10 workers that are stitching together the elastic bands and the textile.
Luca further reports that even though La Sportiva has to stop producing climbing materials for the moment, the company isn't immediately running into financial damages, as they benefit from past years which have been successful. Let's move further to Western Europe, to Great Britain, a country that followed a less determined strategy to fight Corona than Italy.
I was at a hospital the other night where I think there were actually a few coronavirus patients, and I shook hands with everybody.
At least the government was pretty relaxed in the beginning. By the time Boris Johnson was still shaking hands in hospitals, people were discussing in the UKC forums, not about climbing, but about how to fight Corona.
We had some experts contact us who said, you really need to take this seriously. I think it was Dr. Levi Yant who wrote an article saying, time to stop climbing indoors, and then from that it developed into stop climbing outside, stop climbing altogether, and then stay at home.
UKC once more turned out to be way more than just a climate website where grades are discussed.
So we immediately started looking into this and posting articles about, hygiene and climbing rules. Like, this seems like a whole other world away now. But at the time we were kind of like, is it safe to go to the wall? Like, should people be going climbing during a epidemic, or when it was an epidemic, now it's a pandemic?
So you've been kind of ahead of your government, I think.
In some ways, like, yeah, a lot of people thought we were a governing body or something, because we were expressing our opinions on what we thought people should do, and it was quite a big risk to do that, but I think thankfully it was a lot of the right decision, encouraging people to stay at home.
And people seem to appreciate it.
We've got really high site traffic, but a lot of our advertisers don't, they're a lot less fortunate. They're losing money and they're having to withdraw their advertising deals from the website.
When is the time when people just want to go back to normal climbing stories?
Yeah, it's a tricky balance, I think, because initially we were just focused on Corona news and we shut down our logbooks, to try and discourage people from going climbing and logging climbs on our website. And we shared a video, I think it was a climbing video or an article of a climbing trip, and we actually got a complaint from someone who accused us of acting like business as usual, nothing was wrong because we posted a climbing video.
Yeah.
And I think you got to have a balance, because people will get a bit sick of reading constantly about coronavirus. So we've got more people who want to write for us, but we don't necessarily have the budget to be able to pay them.
Natalie also reports the sister company Rockfacts stopped selling guidebooks, which will also affect the financial situation of UK climbing in the long term. So let's hope they all get back to business soon. Let's talk about climbing gyms. In the last episode we reached out to Göteborgs Klätterdomen, which is still open. Sweden hasn't restricted indoor climbing so far. But for most other gyms which are closed at the moment, the financial damages could be crucial. Let's talk to our home gym, the B2. On a normal day, around 50 people come to climb here, but now there is no daily income at all. What does that mean?
I mean, at least we are not unprepared for harder times. But like I said before, it always depends on the total duration of this crisis. But as we are debt-free and as we have no investors full of expectations, we can use our funds and hopefully sit this one out. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And did you get any financial help by the state of Switzerland from the government?
Not yet. At this moment, not. But of course, this is also a solution for us. Depends also on the total time of duration.
In Switzerland, the government considers a slow exit from lockdown in the next weeks, but probably the climbing gyms won't go back to normal very soon.
Probably we will reopen with restrictions, I guess. So could mean not more than 50 people in the gym, no, not more than 80 people in the gym, or even maybe 100 people in the gym. So firstly, it depends on this, which means if we announce not more than 50 people at the same time, there will be already less people coming to the gym. At this point now, like I said, we use resources to plan for the time after the reopening. Mm-hmm. So we are playing through possible reopenings. So how are we going to act with 50 people? What are we going to do if we can welcome 100 people? Yeah, then you need systems and guidelines to guarantee a very safe place even after reopening for everyone. So yeah, that's a tough one in a climbing gym, but if we reopen a place, it's probably a much safer place than before, because we all know how to behave now.
And that's not the only good thing about Corona break. Emmanuel also told us that they used the time to build up new walls and set new routes, and I guess this might be the case for every gym that's closed right now. So we are looking forward to that, and in the meantime we go back to home training. If you haven't seen our video about home training, you can check it out here. That's it for today. Please leave us a like, comment and subscribe to the channel, and see you soon.